This health news segment is brought to you by theblackbusinessschool.com. Theblackbusinessschool.com. Yes, I am a faithful member. Incredible, non-optional wealth building education from arguably the greatest B1 financial guru in the world, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Visit theblackbusinessschool.com today and start building wealth as you build your health. I want to talk about 8 major reasons that it is best to just skip even the 100% whole wheat bread. So the answer to the question of what is the healthiest bread will be no bread at all. That's the answer to what the healthiest bread will be. And it's just to avoid it altogether. And there are some compelling reasons why I have come to this conclusion. Now, that's my answer. Okay, that's the perfected way. But we don't like the perfected way. We war against the simple ways of the Most High. And the simple ways of the Most High: eat the fruits. That's the simple ways. Every fruit with the seed in it. I mean, we see that clearly all throughout Scripture. The most mentioned food in the entirety of the Bible are grapes. Okay, that's what we see. And a lot of times when it's saying bread in the King James, see, this is the problem with translations over thousands of times. A lot of words, the real meaning of words get lost. It's just like we have stupid, bloodthirsty Negroes looking at the word meat. And anytime they see the word meat in a book written 400 years ago, translated from a book written 4,000 years ago, they think it's meaning animal flesh, tortured, murdered animal flesh. And it really doesn't. So it really doesn't. That's not what it means. Okay, so it's important to understand that. So I am talking about whole wheat. Now, for those of you who might be saying, well, the scripture stated in Ezekiel 4:9 about the bread to make, if you're going to decide to make bread again, the Most High has given us the authority and has acquiesced to us in certain areas to teach us a lesson. And so we have been manipulating nature and rebelling against his perfected way from the beginning. And so, yes, he provided a recipe in the book of Ezekiel chapter 4:9, and I have in the past advocated the consumption of the Ezekiel 4:9 bread. Will it be better than, of course, doing Wonder Bread and other types of bread? Absolutely. Absolutely it would be. Yes, that's true. Okay, but it's the same applies. Just like it applies with the regulation of acquiescing to our demand for that tortured, murdered animal flesh. And the reason why I say that is because there's no nourishing value to it. There's no nourishing value to eating animal flesh. So therefore, when you slaughter an animal, when you shed its blood, and you're making this false claim to get a nutritional value from it that you don't need. That's murder. And there's no need to manipulate wheat. There's no need. Wheat isn't human food. That's what let me just get down to it. It's not human food. Okay, it's food for horses. Horses, buffaloes, giraffes, a real herbivore, they can go out in the field and they can eat that wheat whole, raw, the way that God made it without manipulating it. And they have the digestive system, the enzymes, the tooth structure, the stomach structure, everything to break it down and get the nourishment from it. We don't have that ability. That's why we have to take it and manipulate it and turn it into bread. Whenever you have to take what God has created and do something to it in order to eat it, that's not your food. If you have to do more than crack it open, and you don't need no technology to do that. That's just a small crack and open up to get to the melon or peel it. If you have to do anything more than that, I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, that's not food. And eat like that. I tell you, eat like that even for a week. If you would just listen and let your minister of wellness convince you to the perfected way of the fruits, the raw fruits, with no manipulation. You talk about the power of the miraculous healing power. You have seen nothing yet. Eating your whole wheat and your big salad, you have seen nothing yet until you go on the untampered with, as much as possible, the untampered with, because we still have to deal with transportation and so forth. But I'm telling you, the untampered electric power of the medicine foods, it is absolutely extraordinary. It is absolutely extraordinary when you eat the food without manipulating it at all. That's how you know that's your food. That's why the lion can thrive off of raw meat. They're real carnivores. They eat the raw organs. They eat the raw blood. They eat the raw guts. They eat everything. They're real carnivores. A vulture is a real scavenger. It not only it can eat all of that stuff when it's rotten. It can be rotten and having maggots on it, and the vultures can eat it. And then even once it's rotten, as it's rotting, the maggots can still eat the raw meat. See, because they're designed for that, and it's nourishing to them. They don't have to tamper with it. They don't need a knife and a fork. They're not wearing a doggone bib and putting salt and pepper on it. See how foolish we are? Rhinoceros, huge, massive, magnificent animal. Giraffes, elephants, all they eat are grass and shrubs. And yet you still wondering where your little bitty behind, where you gonna get your protein. And you see how dumb they've made us. Look how dumb they've made us. Look how dumb they've made us. And the same thing goes for wheat. If you have to manipulate it, it's not your food. And we don't have to manipulate fruits. You don't have to manipulate grapes. You don't have to manipulate apples and plums and peaches, citrus fruits, berries and melons. You don't. That's your food. That's your food. Okay, so because we can't really absorb, wheat, it just doesn't have as near as much nourishment, vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, which should be the focus of what we eat. It just doesn't have, it's not a nutrient dense food to begin with. It's not, especially for humans, but it's mainly because it's just very hard to absorb. It's all about what you can absorb and utilize, brothers and sisters. If you can't absorb it and utilize it, it's just not, that tells you that is not good for human consumption. What's going to happen is that you eat a whole lot of whole wheat bread and then fart's going to start stinking. You're going to start then fart's going to start stinking. You're going to start stinking. You're going to become constipated. Part of it is because it's filled with a lot of fiber, complex fiber and starches that the human body just is not designed to break down. Remember that wheat plant, that's a very hard plant. It goes through a lot of processing, brothers and sisters, to turn it from that into this. It takes a long process. That tells you when you got to go through all of that just to make some whole wheat bread. That's not human food. That's not human food. Them horses, the horses, and then especially a lot of horses have humongous teeth, but rhinos and other herbivores, usually they have two stomachs. They have to go through a process of chewing the cud to get to the nourishment and to make sure they liquefy that wheat. Like I said, go out in nature and go to a whole wheat plant, grow some wheat, and then put it in your mouth and try to eat it. You can't. Loaded with phytates. It has an anti-nutrient in it. Okay, molecules called phytates. And what they do is stick to vitamins and minerals and keeps your body from absorbing them. So whole wheat bread can inhibit you from absorbing zinc, copper, iron, and magnesium. And that's not good. Again, you're eating things that you think is healthy, but you're not absorbing it. So that's why, once again, yes, can you get healed doing some whole wheat? If you're not sensitive to gluten or have celiac disease, can you get healthy eating a huge salad every day, some whole wheat? Yes, you can. I've done it. But what I'm telling you, is that when you go the perfected way, the grapes, the berries, and the melons, when you go the perfected way, you will speed up your healing by 2/3. And there are some diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, some diseases you are not going to be able to completely heal. Advanced multiple sclerosis that you're not going to be able to heal until you get on those raw fruits. As a lot of diseases, a lot of advanced diseases, cancer and so forth, you're just not going to be able to do it by eating plant foods that you can absorb and utilize. Okay, just because it's a plant doesn't mean it's human food. Most of the wheat has been genetically modified, brothers and sisters, most of it. But again, even if it's 100% organic, it's just not meant for human consumption. That's why you have to process it and turn it into bread. Okay, and then it will still cause some spikes to your blood sugar. The 100% organic whole wheat bread is still just not healthy. It's better than the alternative, especially stripping it down, turning it into processed white bread, which is just a food of sorcery. But again, it's not what's best for us. And it will cause stomach and digestive issues. It will cause stomach and digestive issues. And of course, I've done a video on gluten and celiac disease. Okay, and then it also has a protein called WGA, wheat germ agglutinin, and it reduces the body to absorb nutrients from food. It does this by damaging the wall of your intestines, which is where our body absorbs most vitamins and minerals. So the book Wheat Belly was right. The book was right. I do agree with the conclusions of that book about wheat. Okay, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to eat. And the reason why we don't know how to eat is because we won't obey the scriptures. We're a hard-headed, stiff-necked, rebellious people. We've been like that. The Most High gave us, again, this is another example, manna, which most people are assuming that it was some type of wheat bread in the way we make it now. That's not true. It was a food that was made up of herbs. I know it was made up of herbs to purify the blood as they were going through the wilderness. All of that is symbolic of what the Messiah does in our life, delivering us from sin. He is our Passover lamb, came to end the murder of all creation. And when we accept him, and then we went through the wilderness, which is supposed to be a time of getting ourselves cleansed and overcoming so that we can then be fit for the promised land. That's what all of that symbolized. So that manna, and I'm going to do a video on all of these things. Trust me, I have a lot in store for you all as far as really diving into the nicks and crannies of the scriptures, which is very clear that the Most High created medicines from the earth. It's very clear about the raw fruits being being our food and the herbs for the healing. And if you must do vegetables to just get some of the unique disease fighting nutrients in them, that's why you need a juicer. You all are hard-headed on that. Everybody keeps still trying to ask me, is a blender and a juicer the same thing? It's a silly question to me, but again, I understand my people. My people are stiff-necked, hard-headed, and rebellious. And so, no, brothers and sisters, a blender and a juicer are two different things. A blender and a juicer are two different things. BoyceWatkins.com. BoyceWatkins.com. To stay up to date on important financial updates, events, seminars, everything the premier B1 financial guru of our era has going on, you don't want to miss it. Very important to be on Dr. Boyce's email list. Tons of uncensored financial information you will not receive anywhere else, especially financial empowerment specifically for the Black community. BoyceWatkins.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the information in this video, book a consultation with me, theministerofwellness.com, theministerofwellness.com, or call 888-847-8026, 888-847-8026. The Most High has created medicines from the earth. He who is wise will not abhor them. However, everything that comes from the earth is not our medicine fit for human consumption. And that's why you have to apply all the scriptures. And Genesis and Revelations together, the first book and the last book of the Holy Scriptures. That's indisputable. It's the first and the last. Thousands in between that we don't have access to. But the first book and the last book, is it a coincidence that they both state and point to the fruits as the true medicinal healing source for our bodies? Let's obey, brothers and sisters, the perfected way. Try it. Just do it for a week. Just do it for a week. And you let me know how incredibly amazing you feel. Make sure you search for and subscribe to the Minister of Wellness YouTube channel for much more detailed health information. Also visit theministerofwellness.com and join my email list to receive a free copy of my biblical principles that eradicate obesity and all disease ebook. You can also book one-on-one health coaching. And for this month, May 2023, you can get amazing savings with my Mental Health Awareness Month supplement package and Black Health Disparities Herbal Package, which you can find at theministerofwellness.com under store. For help with ordering, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please call 888-847-8026, 888-847-8026, theministerofwellness.com.